He may be shown as a Caucasian man with long, flowing brown hair in religious art, but Jesus would have likely had a darker complexion and short, curly hair, a forensic expert claims. Retired medical artist Richard Neve has recreated the face of Jesus by studying Semite skulls using forensic techniques. The portrait shows the Son of God with a wide face, hazel eyes, a bushy beard and short curly hair, as well as a tanned complexion. These features would likely have been typical of Middle Eastern Jews in the Galilee area of northern Israel. It's hard to create a portrait of Jesus because there are no descriptions of him in the New Testament, or drawings from the time. Of course, no skeleton or remains have been found from which to study DNA either. So Dr. Neve, formerly from the University of Manchester, used a technique called forensic anthropology to create the portrait as well as fragments of information from the Bible, Popular Mechanics reported. The technique uses cultural and archaeological data, as well as techniques similar to those used to solve crimes to study different groups of people. The team hypothesized Jesus would have facial features typical of Galilean Semites of his era, based on a description of events in the Garden of Gethsemane, written in the New Testament in the Gospel of Matthew. He wrote that Jesus closely resembled his disciples. So Dr. Neve and his team x-rayed 3 Semite skulls from the time, previously found by Israeli archaeologists. They used computerized tomography to create slices of the skulls to uncover details that make up their structure. They then used specialist programs to calculate important measurements and work out how the muscles and skin should look. From this data, the experts built a digital 3D reconstruction of the face, before creating a cast of the skull and adding layers of clay to match the thickness of facial tissues calculated by the program. Features including the eyes, lips, and nose were then estimated to follow the shape of the underlying muscles predicted by the shape of the skulls. Of course, analysis of the skull did not reveal the color of Jesus' eyes or how his hair looked. So Neve's team studied 1st century artwork from various archaeological sites, created before the Bible was written. From these works, they hypothesized Jesus had dark eyes and probably wore a beard, in keeping with Jewish traditions at the time. The Bible offered a clue as to how Christ wore his hair short, with tight curls, unlike many Renaissance depictions, for example. This comes from a passage by Paul, who wrote, "If a man has long hair, it is a disgrace to him," suggesting Jesus did not have this hairstyle. Based on the average build of a Jewish man living in Galilee, the team suggested Jesus would have been just over 5 feet tall. They also theorized he would be more tanned and stronger than traditionally depicted in Western art, because he would have worked mostly outside as a carpenter until he was 30. Dr. Neve, the author of Book of Making Faces, using forensic and archaeological evidence, has reconstructed many famous faces including Alexander the Great's father, King Philip II of Macedonia.